Is this, I mean, the pressure on this new coach that the Knicks have hired to deliver a championship in short order, what do you make of the hire?
Well, I like the hire, and I hope Knicks fans look at the whole body of work of Mike Brown and not how it ended in Sacramento there, as far as a guy who won Coach of the Year with the Kings, won Coach of the Year with Cleveland, was on that Golden State staff that won multiple championships here, and he is certainly established here. It is a rarity where you walk into a situation where it's a win-now team that has championship goals. Usually that's not the case here, and where you look at this Knicks team, they are probably one of the favorites in the Eastern Conference.
McMahon, is this, I mean, when you say championship goals, obviously they got close to the finals. Is this a team you think has what it takes to deliver on its championship goals?
Well, Mike Brown is certainly an accomplished coach and a good hire here, but he definitely steps into a finals or bust type of situation. That's the expectation of the ownership, of the front office. It's finals or bust for them. A conference finals appearance for Tom Thibodeau was not good enough for him to keep his job. So it's a deal where there's talent. It's a wide open Eastern Conference due to the misfortune of some of the other franchises, primarily the Boston Celtics, the Indiana Pacers. And he has a chance here. There's also a ton of pressure, but Mike Brown is not a guy who's going to be swayed by that. He's coached LeBron in Cleveland where the spotlight was bright. He's coached in LA. He's going to be confident in his own skin, able to handle that scrutiny. But yes, it is a finals or bust situation because that's what the front office and ownership created.
Yeah, there's no question it's finals or bust when you fire a coach when you make the conference finals for the first time in 25 years. But for the Knicks and their fans, I think the hope here, and I'm not saying this is how it's going to go, is that this goes like it did 30 years ago for the Yankees when they hired Joe Torre, who had not won a playoff game in his career, had coached 3 times before, was 53 different teams before, was 55 years old at the time, all same things that apply to Mike Brown, other than the playoff wins part. And he came in as a bit of an indifferent hire after Buck Showalter was fired, and Buck Showalter was a guy that was very popular and it got the Yankees back into the playoffs. So, obviously, if the Knicks can have that kind of success, they'll be thrilled. But more than anything, this is about the Knicks have to win. There is no, well, if they get to the second round, they have time, they can sort things out later. If they don't make the conference finals, that's a failure. And if they don't even get there, then who knows what's going to happen in New York.
But it's New York. There's plenty of patience. You know,
by the way,
ease right into it, right? No, it's not. It's not going to be like that at all. I mean, the first 2 or 3 game losing streak, everybody will talk about. It's amazing. In the media here, not so much, but nationally and the fan base, there were torches and pitchforks out for Tom Thibodeau from the start of the season, this past season, all the way through to the end.
Yeah,
and it's amazing
in the
how
conference
quickly,
finals,
and apparently for good reason.
Right, but think about it.
He was on
if
thin
Mike
ice.
Brown struggles early, you know what people will say? That Tom Thibodeau should have never been fired, which is an amazing turn of events because everybody, the momentum was towards that. But that's what Mike Brown is facing right now.
By the way, nothing indifferent about the Joe Torre hire. It was Clueless Joe was the tabloid headline.
That's right.
And obviously that worked out pretty well for the Yankees. Much more to come this morning on Get Up. It is the countdown to NFL training camp. And what the heck is happening in Pittsburgh? Could the Steelers, and that is not all. We have Bobby Marks. We have Tim McMahon. We have Harry Douglas. An outstanding crew for you this morning to talk NBA and NFL, but we start with baseball and a new Mr. 3000. Clayton Kershaw and the Dodgers hosting the White Sox. Kershaw just 3 strikeouts shy of 3,000. After Miguel Vargas swings at that curveball, he's 2 strikeouts shy of 3,000. Now we're going to go to the top of the 5th. Dodgers down 4-2. He gets Lenin Sosa on the curveball, 1 strikeout away. Now it's a 6, 2 outs, 2 strikes. On his 100th pitch, he gets Vinny Capra looking at the slider. Kershaw, the 20th pitcher in MLB history to reach 3,000 strikeouts. Manager loves it, crowd loves it, family loves it. Kershaw's teammates come out to give him some love, and he celebrates his massive moment. Game still going on in the bottom of the 9th. Dodgers down 4-2. Shohei Ohtani's going to ground to second, but he's going to beat the throw to first. A run comes in to score. Dodgers cut it to 4-3. Next batter, we got runners on the corner for Mookie Betts. He is going to hit one deep to left field. 1 run's going to come in to score on a sacrifice fly, and that ties the game at 4-4. Now you got runners on first and second for Freddie Freeman because the Dodger lineup is just relentless. Freeman's going to turn on a slider, hit it into right field for the base hit. Ohtani's going to score. Dodgers walk it off 5-4 on Kershaw's big night. Dodgers manager Dave Roberts called Kershaw's milestone, quote, the last box in a Hall of Fame career. And indeed, Kershaw, one of the most decorated pitchers of the last century, he's won 3 Cy Young Awards. He won the MVP award in 2014. His ERA of 2.52 is the lowest among qualified pitchers in the live ball era, which dates back to 1920. That is a long time ago, Tim Bontemps. That is absolutely correct. And now he's got 3,000 strikeouts. So that's the baseball, but we're going to stay in LA and talk some basketball because all week everybody's been telling me the Lakers are going to sign a center, and yesterday they did. They agreed to a 2-year deal with 2018 #1 overall pick DeAndre Ayton. He's going to slide into the starting center slot, a position that was exposed in LA's first-round playoff loss to Minnesota. And the odds makers, not overly impressed. The Lakers were 10-1 to win the West before Ayton signed. And today they have moved all the way up to 9-1. Still behind Oklahoma City, Houston, and Denver. So, again, all week, last week, the week before, the Lakers are going to sign a center. The Lakers are going to sign a center. They did. What's it all mean?
I mean, what it means is that the Lakers got a talented big man, Dan, that can give them some depth inside, gives them a starter, a guy who's going to be a productive player. But the question is he going to be an impact player? And that very much is an open question. DeAndre Ayton helped the Phoenix Suns get to the finals in 2021, but he has been a guy that's typically been more of a potential player than a reality player in terms of driving winning. It's why he just got bought out of the max contract he was on, and it's why there's a lot of indifference about him signing with the Lakers. However, with Luka Doncic and LeBron James, this is a chance for him to reset the narrative about his career. He has the talent to be a hugely impactful player for them. The question is, can he? That is very much open for debate.
Lakers obviously needed the help and still need some help. We've been talking all week about LeBron James' situation in L.A. He opts into his contract, the final year of his contract on Sunday, and then a minute later we get a statement from his agent indicating that he wants to see what's going on in free agency and what the team looks like before he knows if this is the best place for him long term. So what does the Ayton deal mean about the LeBron situation?
It means that they're going to now assess whether or not this roster, which is the words of Rich Paul, is championship caliber. They needed a center. They had to get one. They almost didn't even get Ayton because if Miles Turner doesn't go to the Bucks, Ayton might end up going to the Bucks. So there's a lot of dominoes that had to fall here. But I think it's still an assessment period, though, for Rich Paul and LeBron James to look at this Laker roster where it is right now with Jake LaRavia and the addition of DeAndre Ayton and say, is this a team that in the West they can compete for a championship? Because that was their words, to compete, or Rich Paul's words, to compete for a championship. I don't know if the Laker roster is there.
Bobby Marks, what do you think LeBron and Rich Paul are after in all this, and how do you size up the way the week has gone and what effect that'll have on ultimately what happens with LeBron?
Well, what's interesting is, Dan, when you put that odds up, you would have thought, based off Rich Paul's statement, that the Lakers would have been 10th on that list as far as teams to win in the Western Conference here. They're still 4th, right? That's a team that finished 3rd in the Western Conference last year. And although they lost in that game, a lot of us had projected them to go pretty far into playoffs here. So this is still a pretty good Lakers team, and they add one of the better centers on the market. If DeAndre Ayton was a free agent and before the buyout, he would have been probably the second best center in free agency behind Miles Turner. So it's an upgrade. We've been talking about getting them a center. I think now the big thing is now what's going to be the next move for this Lakers team, because that depth in that backcourt is awfully thin.
Yeah, Tim McMahon, when you look at next moves, the Lakers, there's a lot going on with the Lakers right now. Some of it has to do with putting together the best possible team for this year, and some of it is bigger picture. When you're looking at the Lakers and the way they're operating right now, what stands out to you?
I mean, the priority is the bigger picture, and the bigger picture is Luka Doncic. He's eligible to sign an extension next month. How does he feel about this? How does LeBron feel? That's not the priority. It's a potential headache, but it's not the Lakers' priority. It's about Luka. It's about trying to instill confidence in him that they can build a contender here, that there is a bright future in L.A., and DeAndre Ayton may or may not be part of that. To this point in DeAndre Ayton's career, he's been a talented doofus, right? There's a reason this former #1 overall pick, who's an immensely talented athletic, chiseled 7-footer has been dumped by 2 franchises. Now, this is a golden opportunity for him to come in and prove he's willing to do the dirty work. He's willing to do the kind of things necessary to thrive with Luka Doncic. But again, it gets back to Luka Doncic is the center of the Lakers universe and the priority moving forward.
Well, you always see talented doofuses go to L.A. and just lock in. You always see that.
At no point has anyone said the Lakers had a need to fill at doofus, but I guess here we are. Listen, what Tim said was LeBron's not the priority, but it's a potential headache. Like this is out there, and it's out there because Rich Paul put it out there.
That's
so
right.
we're not making too big a deal of this. This was brought up, but isn't the fact that Luka's the priority part of the issue? The Lakers are looking toward a future that probably doesn't have LeBron in it. How do you think this all plays out this summer?
I mean, if you're talking about what the likeliest scenario is, I think the likeliest scenario is that LeBron James and Luka Doncic are playing together in September in Los Angeles because there's not really a good logical option for LeBron James to do other than that. If he had wanted to truly explore the studio space and see where if he wanted to play somewhere else, he had a very easy way to do that, which was to opt out of his $52.6 million contract on Sunday. The fact that he did not do that, that he opted in, that he took the money, means that he's stuck in a situation now, or I shouldn't even say stuck, he's in a situation now where he's under contract, he has a no-trade clause, it's very difficult to trade him, and that, to me, leads to all signs pointing towards him and Luka remaining partners on a team that could still be very good.
Sounds simple, but as we know, it isn't always as simple as it sounds. We're going to have more on this as we move along, but we're going to come back to the East Coast now because a month after the stunning firing of Coach Tom Thibodeau, the Knicks appear ready to hire his replacement. According to ESPN's Shams Charania, New York expected to hire 2-time Coach of the Year Mike Brown, who's a coach who has a history of elevating teams in his first year. He's had at least an 8-win improvement in his first season in 3 of his 4 head coaching gigs, including an 18-win improvement in his first year with the Sacramento Kings just 2 years ago. Now, the Knicks won 51 games last season, so an 8-game improvement would be a pretty awesome season. Alan, you're very familiar, obviously, with this Knicks team. Is this the right hire for them?
Well, it's the right hire for right now because you needed somebody with experience. You needed somebody that has coached at a high level, has coached star players, has had success. He has a resume. All those things are very important for the Knicks right now because what he walks into is the expectations of not just having a good season. The expectation is, especially when you look at the landscape of the East and how things have changed since the Knicks were eliminated from the Eastern Conference Finals, is that it's no longer about, hey, just do the same thing they've done, which is back-to-back 50-win seasons, reach the Eastern Conference Finals. Now it's more. Now, to me, the expectation is the NBA Finals. And can Mike Brown deliver? Of all the coaches that they talked to, he was the guy with the resume and experience to do that.
Right, that's right. The expectation is the NBA Finals, and his expectation is NBA Finals right